Good morning, everybody. I'm going to talk about embodiment and this word that some of you might have heard of, which is called presencing. Who's heard of the word presencing? Good. Who knows what theory U is? Some of you, a lot of you, good. So a lot of the embodiment work that I do is connected with this word presencing and with a model for systemic change that's called theory U. And theory U is a process of being able to look at any issue, any kind of stuck system, whether it's a case or an organization, and find out how can we tap into some additional information, something new, something fresh that hasn't been explored before. And it looks at doing that through something that they call open mind, open heart, open will. How can we get to an open mind, open heart, and open will? Developing an interest in the state of not knowing. This unknown thing, what happens when things are not clear? What kind of information can come out of that? So presencing is about this unknown and developing an appetite for that we actually want that unknown aspect more and more. For creativity, for innovation, for information. And in the work that we're doing, mindfulness is described as the capacity to land the mind on some sort of fixed point and have it stay there. So I'll give you a little demonstration. This is a pen. And this, the cap of the pen, are our thoughts. So often, on a daily basis, our thoughts are kind of looking at things that may happen in the future, thinking about tomorrow, maybe about lunch, maybe about a fantastic date that's coming up. We might be consumed with the past. How was yesterday's conference? What are things that I was worrying about? What are things that I need to get done and didn't get done and was supposed to get done? And we have lots of chatter about the present, all sorts of thoughts that are happening inside of our mind about what is Daniel doing on stage right now with his pen. And the goal of mindfulness is to take this brain and land it fixed on the body so that it stays there for some period of time so that I can actually sense what is going on in my body right now. Where is my body connected to? Presumably the big earth. So that instead of my body floating up here with all these thoughts, it actually lands on the ground and stays there. And this is a practice. So mindfulness is something that anybody can do. And there are many ways to do it. And I'm going to invite you into doing one type of mindfulness, which is a embodied movement-based mindfulness. So we're lucky that we have a lot of space in this room. There's space in the chairs around you, and there's loads of space on the floor. And what I want you to do is to find a space in the room where you can just hang out with your body for about 5 minutes. Just letting go and seeing what's there and not knowing is of huge value in this kind of embodiment work. So if I'm describing something right now that sounds confusing or makes you feel awkward or is kind of uncomfortable, that's like a golden nugget in my work. And I want you to find a place where you can sit, or if you want, you can lie, just feeling your body. And once you're ready, we're going to be moving between stillness and motion. Planning ahead, looking forward, place a lot of priority on that. So we're looking to bring some attention to the back of the body. That means the back of the spine, back of the bum, back of the legs. We're looking at what is behind us. And we want to feel that supported on the floor underneath you. In fact, it's supported by the big body. When I refer to big body, I'm referring to the Mother Earth body that is holding you in place right now, who if she wasn't holding you, you would literally just float away. So you feel that sense of being held. And you feel the sense that exactly the spot where you're in right now, that is completely where you belong. So you have a place right now on this big body where you belong, and so does everybody else in this room and on this planet. that every person on this planet right now has a spot. And there's a sense of that. We have a felt sense of that connection through the big body to all of the other bodies that are on this earth. And we're always coming back to the body, and the question that I want you to ask is just, what does it feel like now? So this is a practice of movement and stillness. The world is always moving, and it is simultaneously completely still. In the present moment, there's just this. Just your body, the way it is, shifting about 50% of the time between movement and between stillness. And maybe noticing, how do I feel now compared to when I started 5 minutes ago? Trying to talk about the body sense rather than bringing this right back into the head and making meaning of it. Does that make sense? So it might be new language for some people maybe not. Try to experiment with that. What does it feel like to talk in terms of body feelings and not in terms of head? So just find someone in about a minute each, and then we'll come back. What we're looking to do in this work is see things without naming them. The moment we name something, it becomes a concept. The moment it's a concept, it has loads of baggage, loads of associations, both positive and negative. In this work, we're increasing that capacity to see without automatically jump to name. So it's a beautiful point. We're looking to hear without giving it that sounds like. We just want to hear. And we're giving this sensation of feeling. I just feel, I feel, but I'm not naming it or interpreting it. Now, the eyes are one of the easiest ways to escape the body. So one of the easiest ways to disconnect from felt sense. I know we have a lot of talk in leadership about eye contact. That's great. In other disciplines, it's not what we're doing in embodiment work. The eyes are one of the senses, but not of any greater or lesser significance than all the others. It's a daily practice to learn how to let things initiate through the body. For some people, it's challenging. I'm curious how many people felt somewhat more relaxed afterwards? A lot. So what we're looking at in this first stage of embodiment work is that the body, when given the natural conditions to do so, usually moves into a state of calmness and relaxation. It moves into a direction of more health. So when we're looking at systems work, whether I'm working with education systems, with poverty systems, with healthcare systems, we're trying to explore what would the natural conditions need to be in order for this system to naturally move towards health, just like the body does. When we have this, what we're calling vertical kind of groundedness, we're connected to the floor and we feel that, we can start exploring this second concept, which is awareness. And awareness in this work is kind of described like we have little antennas all over our body, and usually they're kind of closed. And we're looking through mindfulness to see if I can kind of open them and have a sense for sort of what's happening around me. And there might be like multiple things happening at the same time. So I'm interested in exploring this kind of 360-degree awareness. What is happening side body? What is happening back body? So this kind of front body awareness is only as important as the side body and back body. We're going to explore an activity. It's going to be a conversation, but it's going to be a conversation without words. Empty, get away from our conditioned response and have a conversation that is just about what's happening in between us. Because when we're talking about deep listening, yes, we're interested in what the other person has to say, but we're looking for new ideas, new concepts. There's this whole idea of generative listening is about something fresh that hasn't emerged. How are we going to solve the biggest issues on this planet if we're using the same types of thinking that created them in the first place, right? Famous quote. So we're looking at that space. We're looking at that space in between stimulus and reaction, because that's the unknown, that's the awkward, that's the new. That's something I have no idea. If it feels really weird to be standing across a stranger and not knowing what to do, that's beautiful. We want that because somewhere things are starting to happen that then, when we're looking at dialogue later, could produce a new piece of information. The definition of leadership, the natural leadership that I use, is that a leader is someone who not only is aware of the whole, but also cares for it. And maybe in some of this work that we've done right now, there's a bit of a first sense of what does it feel like to care for another person. Now, we're just doing this one-to-one, but when we're looking at systems work, we're particularly interested, how do you care for a full system? How do you care for a full organization? How do you care for a full meeting room? And the tendency of our awareness is generally to be looking into the power center. We're very attracted to power centers, very attracted to what is known and clear and stable. That's why we're so interested in this work, to not focus on the other person. We often say in this work, it's not about you. Whatever happened in your experience, it's not about you. It's about the space in between you, because there lies something new, something fresh. And in fact, those of you that are familiar with the Theory U model know that the real source of innovation and freshness, if we're looking for systemic change, that Theory U proposes, is always in the margins. We're just looking at balance, right? We're looking at bringing our body into natural synchronicity with our mind. We're looking at bringing the outside, whatever is the outlier of the system, whoever is the outlier of the system, to bring that into the middle of our awareness and attention. So we've just been exploring mindfulness. We've explored awareness with another person. I want to try it on a group level. So I just want you to start walking around the room. Your awareness is not only interested in the people around you, but what's happening in the corner of the room? What's happening in the space away from us? And I want to bring in now the element of sitting. So we have walking and sitting as two vocabularies. We've already done them today. What does it feel like to sit while other people are standing? What does that feel like? What do I have to change? What is going on for me? How are you incorporating and acknowledging the information that's happening around you right now? There's lots of information in this room. There's things happening with body parts and hands. How are you acknowledging that? Great. So come into your final shape. Just hold that still. Feel into that. And again, it's not about you. So this isn't about you and your experience right now. This is about your experience in the context of the whole. What does the whole room feel like right now? Where's your awareness? What are you noticing? Great, and you can let that go. Thank you. So that was a very small kind of introduction into this feeling of how do you think about big group dynamics, but we can experiment with this on the rest of the courses today. So when you're sitting here, there's so much baggage that comes with this format. Stander, sitter, sitters, maybe other standards, all this expectation. I have to perform for you. I have to deliver. I have to show you something new. We're looking at dropping that actually the quality of our attention dictates the outcomes of what happens around us. That in your attention, in your listening, in your eagerness to listen me to my greatest wisdom, I might say something that I didn't even realize was within me. And that would be truly innovative. Thank you very much.